Hey, Catherine. Hi, audience. I'm Betsy Furler,
Hey,
and this is
Betsy.
Grateful Grieving. We're going to talk about all things grief, life, sometimes midlife, menopause, children, empty nesters, people who take care of other people's children, Catherine, and and just everything about our lives. So I am Betsy, and I lost my son Henry about 5 years ago at the age of 22. And he visits me all the time. I call him Henry Angel. And if I refer to Earth Henry, that means when Henry lived here on Earth. And Catherine lost her husband Daniel almost 4 years ago, right?
It has
After
been. Yes,
after a really long bout with an on and on roller coaster of cancer.
yes,
So Catherine's what I call a young widow, and I am what I call a young mother who lost her child because we call
yes,
ourselves young no matter how old we
we
get.
do. And so since like we're into this 2026 year, I'm just going to say this. I am now 59 years old. I cannot believe that I am 59 years old. I am 1 year away from being 60, and I absolutely do not feel sorry, most of the time I do not feel 59. I certainly don't act 59. Um, and while I was in New York City just this last weekend, running around like I was a, 30-year-old,
Teenager.
um, yes, I at one point I was so exhausted and I'm like, what is wrong? And I'm hold on, I'm trying to keep up with kids in their early 20s. I I need a nap.
And they're not just kids in their early 20s, they're high-level athletes in their early 20s.
Who never run out of energy.
Uh-huh.
They were on the go the whole time. They wanted to see everything they could. I kept up with them most of the time. After dinner at night, I would go back to the hotel and go to bed, and they would go out. So that worked really well. But I definitely, um, we talked about a little bit about the products that you sell with LifeVantage and being healthy. And we talked about that in the last episode. And that has made a big difference for me. I have so much energy. I was able to have so much fun on this trip. And even though there are still, like, I feel like I'm living my best life, there's still a touch of guilt at times that I've lost my husband, but it I'm really, gosh, I don't know. I'm really having a good time. I hate to say that.
I mean, I agree, I think, and I sometimes have that touch of guilt too, because I definitely am happier and healthier, excuse me, than I've been in a long time. Um, like decades. And I think the LifeVantage products are instrumental to me. If y'all didn't hear the last episode, we talked about that a lot. In just making me healthier and feeling younger and able to, I have so much more energy. And it was really obvious when I went on the cruise with my sorority sisters, because a lot of them have known me since I was 18.
Right.
And they're like, wait, Betsy, like you have way more energy now than you did when we were in college. And it's
Yes.
true. And on the latest trip that I went on that was the LifeVantage conference, it was in Vegas. It's pretty intense with lots of meetings and then dinners after and everything. And so I got there Thursday night, conference all day Friday, dinner on Friday night, conference all day on Saturday, dinner Saturday night with friends, and then we stayed out super late. Like we closed down two bars in Vegas because
Okay.
Vegas
Wow.
does not stay open all night anymore. It's the weirdest thing. I guess the casinos do, but the first bar closed at 10:30 on a weekend
On
night.
a weekend?
So we moved down to the next bar and they closed at midnight. So we're like, I guess we have to go to sleep. So then on Sunday, I wasn't traveling home till Monday. So Sunday was just an extra day. I had brunch with my friends or breakfast at 9. And then I was like, I'm going to go on the hop on, hop off tour of Vegas. I ended up doing that all day. I did get off at the Mob Museum and then I got off and did some line dancing that they were doing in the streets of Vegas. Did a
Okay.
little line dancing.
I I love that you and I do completely different things. No
Did a
line
little line
dancing for
dancing,
me.
wandered around, got back on the hop on, off bus, um, got and then exited it because they were closing that thing down at like 5:30. So my friends were going to have drinks and dinner at a restaurant at a different hotel than we were staying at. So I got off at this one stop and then walked over there, had drinks and dinner with them, and then we walked like a mile and a half back to the hotel. Then took a couple of detours because I wanted to do a little shopping. Got back to the hotel and then or to the casino, then went to another bar and just sat and people watched. And I mean that was literally from like I think I met them for breakfast at 9. This is like 9:30 at night. I have not been back to my room. I'm just like going, going, going all by
Yes,
myself. So nobody's pushing
right.
me to do this. I just have the energy to do it and did it. And I think that that helps my grief too. Like the fact that I
Yes.
feel good and I can keep moving because movement 100% helps my grief. 100%.
I yes, and I when we look at what's important for women to be doing, because we carry so much, right? Like I know men are the providers, in I mean we provide for ourselves also, but in when you're looking at a relationship, women carry so many more things. We multitask and we balance a lot. And I know with watching my mother, and I've been thinking about this lately because my attitude about things is so easygoing now. And my mother was not that way. And I wasn't always
Hmm.
this way either. Like, I remember my mother coming home from work and just yelling and screaming at us because there was still laundry, folded laundry that needed to go upstairs. There was still dinner to be made. She was exhausted. I think her, because it definitely runs in my family, her hormones were not always balanced well. And at the hardest time in her life, she had, when during menopause, she had three teenagers and a preteen in the house. And huh, I mean, I know how it is having these kids in the house. I don't know how my mother did it. And she worked way more full time than I did. And she also took care of my dad. So that wasn't fun for her. And I'm having fun. And
Hmm.
that, and I feel good, which makes it easier to have fun.
I do
So,
too. And I mean, I think I love that at this point in both of our lives where we have
hmm
so much less responsibility in a lot of ways. I mean, we both have businesses and stuff, so we have that responsibility. But, I also have the sense, and we haven't talked about this, but I have this, you may feel the same way. I have this sense that like I'm really kind of only responsible for myself. I mean, I help take care of my mom, but she doesn't really need that much care. And she's financially independent, obviously. Sam is financially independent. He's 22. He's out there pretty much taking care of himself. I mean, if I wanted to like wake up one day and sell everything I own and go travel, I could do that. I might have to come back periodically to, do things for my mom and to see, I'd
yeah,
want to come back to see Sam and my friends, but I do have the freedom to do that. And I
right.
also have the energy to do that. So I'm not
hmm
thinking, oh, I could do that, but I don't feel like doing that. Oh, I couldn't do that because I don't have the energy or the health. I do have the energy and the health to do it. And I think when people have grief and then piled on it, they have health problems, and then piled on it, they have this lack of motivation because they don't feel good enough to do anything. it's like a vicious cycle.
Um, here's one that just you reminded me of. When people have grief, of course, that's stress, right? And when you have major stress in your life, some of it is a feeling of a lack of control. And I have noticed in my life, and I'm getting much better about recognizing it and not doing it, but I see other people doing it, which is controlling, trying to control everybody else when you don't feel you're in control.
Hmm.
And I think that I have like, okay, this is a perfect example. These four kids and I went to New York. Um, I used points for the hotel room. They booked their own flight. We arrived all at different times. I didn't do anything for them. I said, here's the hotel. I get in at this time on Thursday. They all arrived from, 9 in the morning up till 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
Um, we navigated around. They all, at the end of the trip, got themselves home. One of them had to leave for the airport at 3 a.m. So, of course, he stayed up. I did not. Now, when I woke up at 6, I did check to see if he was at the airport, which he was, but I didn't set an alarm to wake up to wake him up. Like I let those kids have, like they have to figure it out. Whether they make mistakes, whether they mess it up, we can always fix it.
Right.
Um, but they have to figure that out. And I think everywhere in my life right now, I feel that I'm not trying to control people. I get to give a lot of advice. I get to have lots of conversations with people when they say, I don't know what to do. And I say, well, what about this? Like, here's your options. Well, what should I do? Well, that's for you to decide. Like,
I
I,
agree.
I
I'm
don't,
not controlling them either. I mean, I like Sam.
yeah,
Sam and I are going to DC in a couple of weeks for a business trip.
yep,
And I like made my plane reservation and sent it to him. And then he's like, "Yeah, Southwest is too expensive. I want to go on United for on points." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." He made his own reservation. He
right.
then he called me and he was like, I mean, I still don't know what flight he's on. He was just like, he goes, he's like, I'm flying out of IAH and I'm flying out of Hobby, but we're both flying into DCA. And he's like, my flight gets in an hour after yours, and then I leave 20 minutes before when we go home. And I'm like, perfect. Like I couldn't have done that better, right? Like
Right,
that's sometimes
right,
what you get for not trying to control something.
right.
Because I would have
I,
tried to force him
yes,
onto my flight. Well, we don't need to fly together.
no,
So,
no,
and he's like, yeah, as long as you don't mind waiting at the airport for an hour. And I'm like, I'm going to check a bag. And so at DCA, I'll probably just be getting my bag by the time you get off your flight. And I'm sure he won't
probably.
check a bag. So
Right,
we'll be, as soon as he's done, we'll be good to go. Or I can, sit in a little cafe there or something and, and just hang out and wait for him. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that feeling like you don't have to control everybody and everything is huge.
yeah. That's made a big difference in a lot of areas. And actually, I just had one pop up at work today where I have seen a situation developing and I knew it would take care of itself. I didn't try to change it. Um, and I let the people involved handle it. And this morning or today, I was told that, okay, so that has been addressed and it's being taken care of. And I said, good. It got done. It did not need to go on my timeline. My
Right.
timeline, I would have tried to control the situation and I don't think I would have made it better. Or sorry, I know I wouldn't have made it better, but by me stepping back and just observing and ready if I needed to say a word here or there, I didn't. And I
Hmm.
think that's sometimes I wish had I was better at that like 20 years ago, but I think we're I think we're at this point in our lives because of what we've been through. And then I'm able to share that experience with people that are younger than I am by whether it's a conversation or whether it's just showing them how I am. And I
Yeah,
think that more than
modeling,
anything, yeah, I'm
modeling it.
modeling, right? I'm just showing them this is how I operate.
Hmm.
Um, and it then it helps others because
Right.
that's what we're doing, right? You and I both.
Yeah, and I think too we have perspective um on grief and loss and the ability to I know I now 5 years later and I feel like you too. Um I can I can stand back and say, of course, I don't know how somebody else feels, but I can give some perspective on loss. For example, a friend at the Life Vantage thing was talking about a relative who was dating, who was a widow, who or is a
Okay.
he's a widower. Now he's dating this woman who's a widow. So he's like 15 years out. She's like 2 years out. And it's going really well and they've proven to be really good for each other, which I think sometimes when you have comparable losses, it can work out really well as long as both people aren't in deep grief. But her parents are having a really hard time. And I said in there it's actually I think not even 2 years, year and a half. And I said, as a
Mhm.
parent who's lost a child, I can tell you how they're feeling has nothing to do with this man involved. It all has to
Right.
do with the loss of their child and
Yes.
how they feel their child is being placed now that you know,
Oh,
there's a new
that-
partner
and there's
and
grandchildren probably.
the grandchildren and everything. And I
Yeah.
think that it is helpful to people to be able to say that, to be able to say, look, and I think I can do that and you can do that because we have been working through our grief and really thinking through processing how we feel and and really I think I'm going nowhere with this now.
Well, no, no, you're
But
not. No, you are. Wait, let me tell you why. Because I've been working on this lately in that if you're happy, be happy. If you're sad, be sad. If you're angry, be angry. If we're having a discussion and you're frustrated and angry, don't hold that anger in. That's not healthy. Let's
right.
talk about it. Now, I think you have to be I mean, you're responsible for what you do and say and your actions. So, like, don't do and say things that you can't take back. But, and I've worked on this with the relationship with with the boyfriend because I think he spent a lot of time in his life having to hold in emotions. And
Right.
so, what you and I are doing is we're allowing people like be sad, be happy. I can laugh and cry in the same 5 minutes
Yeah.
and both of them hysterically laughing and hysterically crying, right? And I don't make any excuses for it. Like with the boys this weekend, they're tough kids. I've seen them cry. They've seen me cry lots of times. I tear up for a lot of different reasons. I just tear up. I say, "Oh, I'm teared up again," and then we move on. Like I don't let it define. Like I'm not a crybaby,
Right.
but I am emotional, and I think it's okay. We've somehow stopped allowing people to show emotion, especially if it's a negative emotion.
And I think
So,
the crying too, like I wrote a post yesterday about all the Henry signs that I'd seen at the airport. And literally my own post made me cry when I read it back. I didn't cry when I wrote it or when I experienced it, but when I read it back, it
yeah,
actually made me cry. And
yeah.
I'm glad now that
And
I
look at us
can
laughing now.
feel that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, right? I get it. I get exactly what you mean. Yes. I have to not think about things sometimes because I don't want to be sad in that moment. Um, I want to be enjoying the moment that I'm in. So, yeah, that is no, what you were saying, we have to express our emotions so that we can learn how to handle them.
Hmm.
And I think that feels to me, if I can have a little cry or a little, temper tantrum, and again, not like I'm not yelling at people, I'm yelling sometimes in the vicinity of people. But um, if I can do that expression, then I'm good after that. There was one other thing I was just thinking of. Okay, you talk while I think of what I was thinking of.
The other thing I think is that as we're able to express our emotions and understand our emotions, we can help other people understand the emotions of the people around them. We can
Yes.
give them the perspective.
So I read an article the other day about this, and it was journaling. And I'm math brained, not writing brained. So journaling for me is tough. And I've always wanted to do it. Well, in my therapy, my therapist was like, look, I think it's time you need to write some things down. And the article I read yesterday was talking about how therapeutic that is for people, and how dealing with grief or anger or trauma or whatever it is that you're dealing with, there's no script for it, just write. And handwriting is better than typing.
Hmm.
And so for me, and I've done this over the past probably 8 months, not consistently, but when I feel a lot of things built up, I just start writing. And it is like no one will ever see it. I will not go back and look at it again, probably. But there is something about that that unloads it. It doesn't take it away,
Yes, I
but
agree.
the
It
tightness
helps
of the grief.
process. Yeah. And I think that I think the actual physical handwriting, it's not just getting it out because you can say it or you can type it. It's
Right,
not the same
right.
as handwriting. I also read a study that said something like 15 minutes of handwriting a
Hmm.
day helps with dementia, helps stave off dementia and
Okay.
Alzheimer's. And so I
Okay,
did
that's
it one
interesting.
day and then I haven't done it since.
Well, see,
But
I have the idea, but the ADHD in me. But I have found, I mean, at 59 years old, I now journal a little bit, and I've never been able to do that my whole life. So it's something that I think we throw it into, the suitcase of things we can pull from, and that's one of the
mhm,
things that, and this article was specifically talking about major grief, major trauma, and how drugs and therapy and all of these things that you can do. This was one thing that there's no real, I don't know what the scientific, like the guy that did it, I don't even know that there's anything scientific behind it. It just, if there is, it just works.
and I agree. I mean, I've done some journaling. I was doing a lot of journaling earlier on in my grief process.
Yes,
And I do
yes,
think it helps a lot. I don't need it as much now, but I think
right.
it's a great thing to do, even if you're just like not even writing complete sentences. If it's
Oh,
words
right,
or bullet points
right.
or conscious or stream of consciousness, kind of just getting that
Yeah.
out of
Sometimes
your
I can't
brain.
even, sometimes I can't even read my own handwriting.
Uh-huh.
Like when I glance back at it, I'm like, wait, what did I say there? What is that? And I do it on my Kindle Scribe.
Oh,
Um, and I like for me, I like that. So because I'm not a like writing on paper, I don't want my random weird thoughts left out, you know.
yeah, I did that one time. I was journaling and dating someone at the time
Oh,
and
no way.
yes, and left my journaling. I was just journaling on loose leaf paper
Yeah,
because I wasn't planning on keeping it or whatever. I was just
right.
writing and I was actually writing about how it was hard for me to open my heart to somebody because I had such fear of someone else dying in my life.
Okay.
And and yeah, I actually had written the person's name on that piece of paper and everything. And
Is
then
it someone I know?
it is. It is.
Okay.
And
Okay.
just left that piece of paper flat out on my kitchen counter. And then, went to the bathroom
Oh,
And well, he was in my house and saw it, and I heard a little bit of reflection, not, hey, I read the piece of paper left out on your kitchen counter, but obviously the piece of paper was seen.
yes,
So if you journal things, people, put
yes.
them
And you don't want
away where
anyone to
other people
read it.
can't find them.
Well, because like for me, and again, you'll see it, and I see it with the boyfriend too. What he says in the moment of being angry or frustrated, because again, anger is usually the second emotion. The first emotion is fear or sadness or, frustration or whatever it is, and it comes out as anger. Like you can navigate sometimes where I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm never doing this again. That's a great one, right? I'm never
Uh-huh.
doing this again. Well, then once you get going, you're like, yeah, I am going to do this again. But if someone reads that as I'm done,
I'm
I'm
never
never doing
doing
this
it.
again, and it's in
Right.
writing, they're going to say, well, she must mean that. Well, no, for me, I just needed to express it because I was frustrated. Of course, I'm going to do this again, or of course, I'm going to keep going along this route.
Right. Right. And in journaling, I do think it's important to like let it all out there, right?
Yes,
You just
right.
don't want other people to read it.
You, that, that reminds me of like when kids do something, especially teenagers, and they get busted because they're not smart enough to get rid of all the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
That got me in trouble all the time as a teenager, which helps me now when I navigate all these young kids, teenagers and 20 somethings. They're like, how did you know that? Yeah, because I don't tell them that.
Been there,
they,
done
they
that.
leave clues all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that we are out of time again,
Oh my
Catherine.
gosh.
It goes so
Okay.
fast.
It
So,
does.
I mean, I think I love our conversations. I hope our listeners love them too. And if you do love them, or if you just love us and want to help us, please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Um, do all those things. Go on our Instagram at Grateful Grieving and buy my Life Vantage products. Let me know if you want to get info. You can message me. I'd be happy to talk to you on the phone about them, but I'm also happy just to send you the information. And please come back and listen to our other episodes and listen to the ones that we've done previously. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody, and we will
Thanks.
see y'all soon.
Have a great rest of your day.